The aroma of lavender candles filled my home. A gentle breeze danced through the curtains. Everything was picture perfect, or so it seemed. My husband, Mark, smiled at me from across the table, his eyes reflecting the warm candlelight. We were the couple everyone envied, our love a beacon of hope. Or was it all a carefully constructed illusion? Mark squeezed my hand, his touch sending shivers down my spine. Shivers of guilt, because beneath the surface of our seemingly idyllic life, a storm raged within me, threatening to shatter our world. The source of the storm? A secret I guarded fiercely, a secret that could destroy everything. Later that night, lying beside Mark, his steady breathing a stark contrast to my erratic heartbeat, I felt the weight of my secret pressing down on me. His arm draped possessively around my waist, his touch, usually a source of comfort, now felt like branding irons searing my skin. How could I betray the man who loved me so completely? As I stared into the darkness, I knew I couldn't keep the secret buried forever. It was a ticking time bomb, and the detonation was inevitable. The question wasn't if, but when. And when it exploded, it would leave devastation in its wake. His name echoed in the silence of my thoughts. Daniel, Mark's younger brother. Our affair had been a whirlwind of forbidden passion, a dangerous dance that had swept us both off our feet. But every stolen glance, every secret rendezvous had come at a price. And now I was paying the ultimate price. I was pregnant with my brother-in-law's child. The realization had hit me like a physical blow, leaving me gasping for air in a world suddenly devoid of oxygen. How could this have happened? How could I have been so reckless? The pregnancy test lay on the bathroom counter, a stark white stick bearing the undeniable truth. 2 pink lines. 2 lines that held the power to obliterate my life as I knew it. 2 lines that whispered of betrayal, guilt, and shame. Looking at my reflection, I saw a stranger staring back at me. Gone was the carefree woman, replaced by a ghost haunted by her actions. My secret was no longer a whisper in the wind. It was a brand etched into my soul, a scarlet letter I couldn't erase. Days turned into weeks, each one an agonizing reminder of my transgression. The guilt gnawed at me, a constant companion whispering insidious doubts in my ear. I was trapped in a labyrinth of my own making, each turn leading me deeper into despair. Morning sickness became a cruel joke, each wave of nausea a physical manifestation of my emotional turmoil. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't escape the suffocating weight of my secret. The life growing inside me, a symbol of love and hope for most, was a constant reminder of my betrayal. I tried to confess to Daniel, to find solace in shared misery, but the words caught in my throat. How could I burden him with this knowledge, knowing it would shatter his own world? So I suffered in silence, the weight of my secret threatening to crush me. Every stolen glance at Mark, every loving gesture felt like a knife twisting in my gut. He deserved to know the truth, but the fear of his reaction, of the pain I would inflict, kept me tethered to my web of lies. The strain of my secret began to show. My once bright eyes were now clouded with guilt, my smile a pale imitation of its former warmth. Mark noticed, of course, his concern growing with each passing day. "Are you all right, sweetheart?" he'd ask, his brow furrowed with worry, and each time I'd force a smile and mumble a lie. The guilt was a monster, constantly lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce. It followed me everywhere, poisoning my every thought, every action. I was a prisoner in my own home, the walls closing in, suffocating me with their silent judgment. Even the simplest of tasks, like preparing dinner or folding laundry, became Herculean efforts. My mind raced with thoughts of the impending revelation, of the devastation it would unleash. How could I have been so careless, so selfish? The whispers of betrayal followed me like a dark cloud, casting a shadow over everything I held dear. My life, once filled with laughter and love, was now a desolate wasteland of guilt and fear. The earthquake, the truth unraveled on a day that began like any other. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and the scent of freshly brewed coffee filled the air. Mark was out of town for a business trip, leaving me alone with my thoughts, my fears. And Daniel. He had stopped by unexpectedly, his face etched with worry. He had heard whispers, noticed my withdrawn demeanor, and he demanded answers. I tried to deflect, to maintain the facade, but the words tumbled out of me, a torrent of guilt and shame. Daniel's reaction was like an earthquake, shattering the fragile remnants of my composure. His initial disbelief gave way to anger, then to a profound sadness that mirrored my own. We were both caught in the crosshairs of a storm we had unwittingly created. The world seemed to tilt on its axis as the weight of my confession hung in the air between us. The truth, once buried deep within, was now a roaring inferno, consuming everything in its path. There was no escaping the consequences of my actions, no turning back time. Shards of a family. The news of my pregnancy spread through our families like wildfire, leaving devastation in its wake. Mark returned a shell of the man I once knew, his eyes reflecting profound pain. The love we shared now lay in pieces at our feet. My parents, faces etched with disappointment and anger, struggled to comprehend my betrayal. Their little girl had shattered their world. The pain in their eyes was a constant reminder of the trust I had broken. But it was my sister's look, a blend of hurt and rage that cut the deepest. The bond we shared since childhood had vanished, replaced by a chasm of betrayal. Her silence spoke volumes, each unspoken word an indictment of my actions. Our families fractured, pieces scattered like shards of glass, sharp and unforgiving. The life I believed perfect lay in ruins around me. Picking up the pieces, the weeks that followed were a blur of tears, recriminations, and agonizing decisions. Mark, unable to forgive my betrayal, asked for a divorce, his voice devoid of emotion. The pain in his eyes was a constant reminder of the happiness I had destroyed, the future we had envisioned together. My family, though struggling to come to terms with my actions, offered their support, their love a beacon of hope in the darkness. My sister, however, remained distant, her anger a palpable force that hung heavy in the air. The loss of her friendship, the bond we had shared since childhood, was a constant ache in my heart. Through it all, I carried Daniel's child, the physical embodiment of my sin. The guilt and shame were ever present, but as my belly grew, so too did a flicker of hope. This child, conceived in betrayal, was also a symbol of redemption, a chance to right my wrongs. I knew that I had a long road ahead of me, a journey paved with regret and uncertainty. But I was determined to face the consequences of my actions, to pick up the pieces of my shattered life and build something new, something stronger. Scars and regrets. Time, they say, heals all wounds, but some scars run too deep, leaving behind a permanent ache. The pain of my betrayal lingered, a constant reminder of the consequences of my actions. Mark had moved on, his life now devoid of my presence, a constant reminder of what I had lost. My relationship with Daniel remained strained, our interactions tinged with a mixture of guilt and regret. We were bound by the child we shared, a constant reminder of the passion that had ignited between us and the devastation it had wrought. My family, though slowly healing, bore the scars of my betrayal. The trust had been broken, the foundation shaken. My sister, however, remained distant, her forgiveness elusive, a constant reminder of the depth of my transgression. As I watched my child grow, her laughter a balm to my wounded soul, I was filled with a profound sense of regret. Regret for the pain I had caused, the trust I had broken, the love I had destroyed. The scars of my past were a constant reminder of the importance of honesty, the fragility of trust, and the enduring power of forgiveness. A glimmer of hope. Years passed, seasons changed, and life went on. The sharp edges of my guilt dulled, replaced by a quiet acceptance of the past. I poured all my love into raising my daughter, her happiness my sole focus. Mark found love again. His wife embraced my daughter with open arms. Seeing them together filled me with bittersweet joy. My relationship with Daniel remained cordial, centered around our daughter. The passion faded, replaced by a shared history and deep affection for our child. My family forgave me, love proving stronger than my mistakes. My sister allowed a glimmer of warmth back into our relationship. Life tested me, and I initially failed. But through pain, I emerged stronger, wiser, and more appreciative of life. The future remained uncertain, but I faced it with newfound hope, carrying lessons of my past close to my heart.